so I got fired.
Welcome back to your Union Pulse. If you've been following what's happening with workers at Transdev here in Phoenix, you've probably noticed a pattern. What many people don't realize is that this isn't random. It fits a much larger, well-documented business model that's been heavily criticized at the highest levels of government. That model, the one Amazon has been called out for in multiple congressional hearings. Amazon's own leaked internal documents show they run on roughly 150% annual turnover, double the industry average. Congressional investigations, including a major Senate Help Committee report, found that Amazon deliberately uses high turnover and extreme productivity demands to keep wages low and avoid investing in workers long term. They treat employees as disposable. Injuries go up, experienced workers leave, and the company just hires the next batch. Now look at transit contracting, specifically companies like Transdev. Private contractors routinely pay lower wages and slower raises than direct public operators. Studies from transit agencies show that the savings from contracting come mostly from cutting driver pay and benefits. The result? Higher turnover, less experienced drivers, more training costs, and worse service quality over time. In Phoenix, we've seen the same pattern. Unfair labor practice complaints, strikes over basic issues like pay and bathroom breaks. It's time for real change. For many workers, job security is an illusion. Everything depends on winning the next contract bid. This system leaves them in constant fear of losing their jobs. When you combine that with retaliation against workers who speak up, exactly what we're seeing with protected activity like criticizing working conditions, it starts to look like the same disposable worker strategy Amazon perfected, just applied to public transit. The difference is that Amazon answers to shareholders. Transdev answers to the city of Phoenix, which answers to taxpayers and riders. If a contractor is running a high turnover, low accountability operation that chills workers from speaking up about safety or conditions, that eventually affects service quality. Riders feel it, taxpayers pay for it. The city has real leverage here. They can demand better transparency on turnover rates, wage progression, and how discipline is being used. They can require stronger protections for worker voice. Or they can keep renewing contracts with a model that treats experienced operators as replaceable parts. Amazon got dragged in front of Congress for this exact approach. Maybe it's time Phoenix took a harder look at whether the same model belongs in our transit system. What's up, everybody? I did something really stupid recently. I talked. Yeah. I went live on Facebook talking about union stuff and working conditions like a complete psychopath.
And apparently that's now considered a hostile act of terrorism at some companies. Next thing I know, I'm catching discipline like I posted the nuclear codes.
So I show up to work with a headache that felt like my brain was trying to escape my skull. I do the adult thing, I tell dispatch I need a quick stop, I go get medicine, and I try to finish my shift without dying on the bus. You would think they'd say, "Thank you for not passing out and killing everybody." Nope. They hit me with a schedule adherence charge. This is an election year for ATU Local 1433 officers, and if you've been paying attention to how this leadership has handled members who speak up, then you already know the truth. They are not protecting you, they are managing you. When workers exercise their legal right to talk about working conditions, union leadership, or how grievances are being handled, the current officers have repeatedly shown they will not have your back. Instead, they have stood by, or worse, participated, while members face rushed discipline, denied access to evidence, and pressure to just accept charges. This isn't representation, this is abandonment. We've seen members go into hearings without seeing the evidence against them. We've seen union reps give minimal information and then pressure people to sign off on charges rather than fight. We've seen the union notified after critical meetings instead of being present to defend members in real time. When someone criticizes leadership or working conditions, the response from this administration hasn't been stronger advocacy. It's been distance, or silence, or quick resolutions that protect the status quo instead of the member. That's not an accident, that's a choice. A union that treats vocal members as problems instead of the people it exists to protect has lost its way. When leadership appears more concerned with avoiding conflict with the company than with vigorously defending workers who exercise their rights, it stops being a union and starts being an extension of management. This toxicity doesn't just hurt the people who speak up, it hurts all of us. When members see what happens to people who raise issues, they stop raising issues. When the union fails to demand basic due process, it teaches the company that it can cut corners on our rights. When automatic assessments hit our paychecks without proper member votes and transparency remains low, it shows leadership is comfortable with systems that take from members while avoiding accountability. This isn't about one bad hearing or one weak grievance. This is about a culture that has allowed retaliation against protected activity, failure to secure evidence for members before discipline, and treated criticism of leadership as something to be managed instead of engaged with. It's time for new leadership. We are in election year. That means we have the power to change this. If you're tired of seeing members left to defend themselves, tired of union reps who downplay charges instead of fighting them, tired of leadership that seems more interested in keeping things quiet than keeping members protected, then step up. Run for office. Organize with other members who feel the same way. Vote for people who will actually represent workers instead of managing them. The current officers have had their chance. They have shown through their actions and inactions that they are not willing to aggressively defend members who exercise their legal rights. They have allowed a culture where speaking up carries a cost instead of protection. That has to end. A real union fights for its members, especially the ones who speak out. A real union demands transparency on finances and assessments. A real union shows up when the company comes after people. A real union treats criticism as information, not a threat. If the current leadership won't do those things, then it's time to replace them with people who will. This isn't about revenge. It's about survival. If we keep the same people in charge who have shown they won't protect workers who speak up, then nothing changes. The company keeps pushing, the union keeps managing instead of fighting, and members keep getting left holding the bag. But if enough of us decide we're done with weak representation and toxic leadership, we can actually change it. Run, organize, vote. Because the only thing more dangerous than a bad company is a union that won't stand up to it. This is your Union Pulse. Stay loud, stay organized, and take your union back.